And now we are getting into the finals of this week. It is another Terran versus Protoss, starting off on Waterfall. Top right, MaxPax. Bottom left, HeRoMaRinE. So. It has been a while. HeRoMaRinE has not been present in a lot of the finals, much less actually winning them. He probably temporarily lost his title. We'll see if he can regain it. He initially, I think, was losing it to Clem. Either by losing to Clem or just losing to opponents he didn't used to on the opposite side of the bracket. Or he was losing it to MaxPax, who has won, I think, the last 3 or 4 of these open cups. So we can try and quickly go in and see when the last time HeRoMaRinE even made it to the finals. Last week was... Oh, that's right. Last week was Clem Lambo. Forgot about that. So the week before that would have been... Clem MaxPax. Yes, that was a 3-0. And then before that, it was Clem Time. Forgot about that one. And then it was MaxPax Time. By the way, 2 of these brackets that I've been pulling up, HeRoMaRinE lost to MaxPax in 2 out of like the 4 or 5 that I brought up so far. So again, going even further back, we got Rainer versus Neeb. Clem MaxPax again. HeRoMaRinE Skillus. There we go. Number 130. It has been about a month and a half since HeRoMaRinE has even made it to the finals. He is no longer the king of this tournament. So can he regain his crown? That's the question. So what do we have going on? Thankfully nothing super serious like a hand rush was happening while I did that. We do have a factory expand from HeRoMaRinE. One of the shortest maps we have. Smallest maps we have. And then we have MaxPax going for a forward wall. Cat cam left. Oh, he just went into a smaller hammock. Which, I don't know, I guess he just likes better. It is more elevated, so that might be the reason. He used to like this one the most, but now he sits up there. Cats are funny. Okay. So Reaper runs face first into a Zealot, which is actually quite good. Because they can start doing damage to it before the Stalker even gets involved. And then a second Reaper comes forward. If MaxPax wasn't aware that it's a factory expand, which he was by the supply depot, but confirmation with the 2 Reapers. So a Hellion should be on the way. So he is going to have his... there we go. He's going to have a Zealot, die eventually, but maybe he can keep his Stalkers alive. This is an interesting decision from both of them, actually. Oh, because he can just fully wall. Well, 2 Reapers in the main. Oh, there's also a shield battery. Oh my god, MaxPax thought of everything. Oh my god, well this is just more of a mistake than from HeRoMaRinE. Straight up, he should not have let these units come across and actually get into his natural. Significant delay on his command center. A scout on what follows us up as well. No Cyclone is a Widowmine. And the Widowmine should not be able to kill any of these units. Should not. Would not. Could not. Okay. We're good now. Maybe a little overextension there from MaxPax. Maybe you should have pulled back on the Stalkers a bit earlier. But that said, significant delay in the command center. Only 1 Stalker died. Zealot's kind of inconsequential. Sorry, big guy who trained 1,000 years to do what you just did, but it was meh. And the game goes on into, you guessed it, a 4-gate blink build. Now, someone in chat actually said it, and I don't necessarily disagree with it, but these maps, a lot of them have large open areas in the main. Which might sound like it's just that means that it's good for
Apparently you are doing something
a
right,
4-gate.
Captain.
I mean, it's certainly a part of the 4-gate, but it's not the whole shebang. It's not the reason the 4-gate is going to be good or bad. Or let's say it's not the reason it's going to be good versus great. There you go. Pig General, thank you for the 15 months. I think what makes a map great is a decent amount of space in the main base to run around and have a tank not hit you on the fringe. But also the ability to beat bot between main and natural quite quickly so that the tanks can't reposition fast, nor can even the Marines. So you take care of the defenses in each location prior to the Terran being able to respond. I think that's what makes a great 4-gate map. But if it's just the map like this... Oh, what am I drop? Once again, getting 6 probes. Oh, just getting 15! Oh, whoops. MaxPax thought that would go on this probe, apparently, and then HeRoMaRinE actually microed. Is, I'm guessing, what happened there. That is huge. That is so big. I said once again 6, because that's what he lost against Clem, and still had a kind of a feisty stalker push, but... Ooh, 15. Oof. This is an interesting engineering bay. Okay, let's... I said interesting because I couldn't determine if it was going to be good or bad. I don't like it. I think I'm using interesting to soften the blow. Being bad? I think the reasoning is that it's less surface area for the stalkers, right? Or blink areas. Surface area? Blink areas. Oh, he's going to tap out. Yeah, that makes sense, actually. That does make sense since he lost so many probes back at home. But the engineering bay... I don't think that's the reason that he, he won. So... I kind of want to take it out of that game and just see it for what it is. So yeah, it stops some stalkers from blinking close. I guess it's good. I mean, HeRoMaRinE would probably have a lot of evidence as to when it's helped him. The downside to it, if you're like, what's the problem? I don't understand. The downside to the engineering bay is that means that there's about 30% of surface area on the bunker to actually to repair it. Now, if you're just kind of saying I don't even care about repairing it, then I guess do whatever, right? Usually Terrans repair at least the first time the stalkers engage. But the setup of not just the engineering bay, but the way the supply depots were as well. Yeah, I guess he just didn't really care about repairing the bunker, and it was a lot more about stopping the stalkers from getting on top of the tank, but they still did, which is why I'm like,
Warning. Programs detected in comm server 04.
Just gonna give the benefit of the doubt to the pro here, who's probably been practicing that for a while now.
Warning.
Thank you, Zogger. GG. For the 5 gifted subs. GG indeed.
Warning.
And now game number 2. Bottom right's MaxPax. Top left, HeRoMaRinE. Like I was saying, actually, between the two. Oops, that was the wrong button. Between the two, HeRoMaRinE has been losing out more often against MaxPax. Lately. MaxPax in general, just adding more and more Terran kills to his list. Yes, and so the last 3 times they met, MaxPax won them. Those were all best of 3s, so this is one of the first best of 5s they played against each other since June, where HeRoMaRinE dominated. But as of late, MaxPax has been performing better. I guess to be very, very clear, as of late is not actually totally accurate. I mean, enough to be accurate. Like, it's been about a month since they played. Well, a little less than that. It's been exactly 16 days since they last played. But that still counts, right? So in the last 1 to 2 months, MaxPax has been winning over HeRoMaRinE and Clem. So aside from, actually, yeah, MaxPax vs. Clem is really MaxPax dominated recently. Aside from a couple of best of 1s, which I'm not sure we're really counting. So MaxPax he's doing really well with TvP, but last game was not evidence of that. If you just tuned in, you're like, MaxPax messing up versus Terran. What have I missed since 5 months ago? Actually, a lot. This game was not at all how it's supposed to go. Because MaxPax is the type of player that even if his Blink Stalker attack isn't really working, he still tries to macro out of it. Stalkers retreat, they have to walk a lot to get out. That's true. Yeah. Okay. I guess what I'm imagining is a Stalker blink to kill a tank where the Stalkers can still just be there while they actually kill the tank. Because that's... it's been the last couple of Blink Stalker attacks that we've seen, is that the natural gets infested. And there really isn't much a retreat aside from a Blink anyways. But that definitely guarantees it with SimCity like that. No, that's a very good point. And that's why I just said HeRoMaRinE knows what he's doing. I didn't think about it in that context. I was thinking more one shot and done. Looks like there's a Stargate opener this time around, so MaxPax is changing things up. HeRoMaRinE did once again go for a factory expand with a high ground command center, so playing very safe. And did scout the Stargate, so just barely scouted the Stargate. Reaper did eventually die, but it did its job. And what is that coming down with it? Just a gateway. Oh, and a Phoenix coming out first. Could have some Phoenix charge being played out by MaxPax. Whoops! Didn't realize there was another Woodamon. And it looks like HeRoMaRinE just kind of content on staying back for now. Actually, he gets a medevac. Is he gonna try to kind of gamble his way into a Widowmine drop?
Twitch Prime sub received.
Against a Phoenix player, it is a bit of a gamble. They may not know it's Phoenix. Technically, it could be Oracle into Twilight Council, but it's a bit sketch to do it against someone who got a Stargate and you didn't see what was coming out of it. So the Phoenix could, well, one. Oh, that's what he's gonna do. Okay, this was Spear did earlier too. That makes sense. So if he just did a Widowmine drop, then, you know, 50-50 chance of it actually being able to execute. And even then, maybe the Phoenix just stay at home and lift the Widowmines. So it's like, okay, is it really worth it? But you pull everything at once, and it does get a lot more difficult for the Phoenix player to defend. It looks like MaxPax is able to scout this without losing a Phoenix, though, which I think is already really critical. And he did have a shield battery on the way in the natural, so he should be fine. Yeah, he's not playing actually very greedy at all as far as bases go, because he's going into 2-base Colossus eventually, once this is taken care of. So, you know, when Firefly had to deal with this, he was trying to get to a 3rd base and setting up for more Phoenix charge. And having to defend more than one location just automatically makes things more difficult. But then he also did defend it and then just counterattacked incorrectly. In this case, hold up on 2 bases. I think it's very likely that MaxPax can even thrive after this, but actually it's kind of going weird. Those 2 Cyclones still being alive with 2 Vikings. The scariest part of the army. And now a 3rd Cyclone as well. Okay. How about that? Well, MaxPax is taking this as seriously as necessary. Getting a 2nd shield battery. Actually, it's really quite helpful here. But another Phoenix will fall despite that. And this is actually terrible. Just a couple of reinforcements, but I think primarily the big units, the important units are all alive. That is the worst thing about this defense. You know, a bunch of Marines died. And the Widowmines, well, could have been important. It still is like, well, that plus a couple of Cyclones next time, thank you very much. And instead, it's a big pile of crap. This is not going so hot for MaxPax. Just struggling to bridge the gap. The Phoenix can do a decent job of it usually, but they had to be so careful. Now they finally do the thing, which is usually the chase is usual, but even then the Phoenix almost all died. Jeez Louise. That's actually a ton of damage. And MaxPax had to severely just change up his not his build necessarily, he's still gonna go into 2-base Phoenix Colossus, but he had to respond to that for so long that he really isn't just moving on to the next step, whereas, yeah, HeRoMaRinE is also dedicating to the push, but I feel like he's moving along to the next step. He's going to go a little bit nicer here. So his 3rd CC is finishing up as an orbital. He's transferring all his barracks around. He does not have any upgrades started, so definitely a committal from the Terran. No stim, combat shields, You know, engineering bay upgrades. Definitely dedication, but that was awkward. Very awkward from MaxPax. But at the very least, when he finally broke it, he was able to break it to a decent degree, and he was able to chase down a lot of those units. Because that's usually what happens with a Phoenix play, is that if you do have enough to hold, your chase is really good. So someone has to be like really confident in their ability to stand their ground against a Phoenix player. So yeah, the chase was good, and the counter is actually even looking pretty nice too, but nice as in kind of free. Like, why not just be out on the map like this, trying to lay the command center? Doesn't get very much more done, but I still like the idea. As much as the tanks are fantastic against a little push like this, can't really be breaking it, they don't engage on that army either. So it's not like MaxPax would be fearful of being run over. Thank you, Tolt7 for the Prime sub. So I said that I think HeRoMaRiNE's going to be able to macro out a bit better. Everything considered. Is that so far true? I think so. MaxPax has really gotten, you know, into gear since getting the army off of his side of the map. So third base came up, saturated pretty quickly. Probably a lot of Chrono Boost went into it. Fourth base comes up now. Trying to maybe catch up a little bit to where Protoss would, I guess, be without all of that hubbub in the natural. And things are moving along smoothly. So he's already got 3 Colossus. Could add on a Templar Archives and a Dark Shrine, or just a second Robo and Disruptors would also be nifty. It looks like HeRoMaRiNE does not know about the 4th base, so presumably there is a 3rd. But doesn't know about the 4th base, doesn't know about the army positioning. Has to be a little wary of the Phoenix Colossus player still kind of being the bully until he does have a decent number of units, until he does have all of his upgrades. But now that that time has kind of passed, he can finally get out on the map, as is the Terran rights. And if his tanks get out on the map right here, oh, it's gonna actually be really brutal for Protoss. Oh boy. I think already MaxPax making a bit of a mistake. Just by not having the Colossus try to engage a little bit prior. Very dangerous to do once the Marauder count's high and Stim is done, because you don't want to be pounced upon and be like, oh, well, made a mistake. But, well, if you can, try and slow that down with Colossus, laser beams, and force fields, and get out of the jail free card. It's usually what you would like to do. HeRoMaRiNE looks like he's playing a super safe game. Realized there's going to be a run-by of some type. Did have some reinforcements, just not as many as necessary, and this is kind of weird, but point is he is not letting his army, his main army, get engaged upon. But he has lost any of that brutal positioning, so now, between the last time he was on MaxPax's side of the map and now, it's a lot more charge lots, a couple of Archons added in the mix. Still, I'd say for MaxPax, be very, very, very careful. So 30 army supply lead from HeRoMaRiNE, but ooh, that is improper Warp Prism defense. Absolutely nothing scouting the dead zone in his main. Is frankly a big mistake, but oh, well, so a big engagement. HeRoMaRiNE looks like he was not expecting the army to be there, so none of his tanks were siege. Even if they were, I guess they were lifted. And the question then is the remnants, can it actually do the trick? Answer, no, not at all. 2 Colossus are going to go down. The sacrifice of many of these Vikings, but yeah, GG. That really sucks, actually, because I feel like if HeRoMaRiNE wasn't it kind of felt like he was him and Han, you know, like he was kind of almost too aware of the possibilities. So I think his tank push on that 4th base would have been brutal if it just sieged there. But I think he was like, okay, well, I'm going to get run by. You know, there's potential for me being surrounded, and I don't like that. And I'll probably have to deal with the Warp Prism soon. So he was like really hesitant to be out in the map well and truly. So he kind of pulls back, but then doesn't want to let the Protoss just take reign.
Resubscription
Take the
received.
reins.
Apparently you are doing something
So he
right,
kind of
Captain.
sits in like the middle of the map. It's kind of like a middle ground, literally. still gets caught off guard by the Warp Prism. And even the run by. I mean, that lasted more than Terrans would prefer. But definitely by the Warp Prism. And then that's when he was on siege and just felt like even though there was at times not many things happening, it felt like HeRoMaRinE was mostly aware of what MaxPax was going to do. So almost kind of scared play. A bit timid. And sometimes that means that you are capable of defending everything perfectly. Warp Prism, no problem. Big army attack, no problem. I'm just gonna, turtle up here. In that case, well, unsieging the tanks at an opportune moment. Thank you, Bali, for the 58 months. The top left of Moon Dance, it is MaxPax. Bottom right, we have HeRoMaRinE. I'm pretty sure I thanked Tolt 7 just in case it didn't. Thank you very much. So this time around, HeRoMaRinE's going to hide his barracks. See if it gets any more dangerous than that. It is a 2-gas opener. Usually factory expand, but I don't know, for HeRoMaRinE's feeling spicy. I guess we'll wait to see what this actually turns into, just to really clarify on the final engagement. What ended up being the final engagement. The Warp Prism backstab plus any type of decent engagement was already going to be very difficult for HeRoMaRinE to be okay with. But especially the very bad engagement that ended up happening. I think it was particularly bad, not because the tanks were unsieged, and that's the end-all be-all, because again, they were going to be lifted anyways. I do want to say that if you really look at the engagements and how they usually go when a Terran is prepared to fight, and it just looked like HeRoMaRinE wasn't prepared, so that's the biggest takeaway, is usually the tanks get maybe like 1 shot, or like half a shot. Some of the tanks get a shot before they're lifted. And then the Vikings are prioritizing correctly, and the concave is already there as well. So, tanks not being sieged is kind of terrible no matter what. Even if things are going to lift them anyways. But more importantly, just it was clear that HeRoMaRinE was not expecting to be attacked at that particular moment. Thought he could pull back and help with the Warp Prism, probably. But like I said, it just sucks because it felt like it was a game where HeRoMaRinE was more than wary of everything. It's like a fortune teller telling you you're going to die soon. And for the most part, you don't really give it a lot of credit, but you decide, well, I'm just going to be a little bit more careful. Well, why not? And be very careful about passing the street, crossing the street, traffic. And be very careful about, I don't know, going underneath, like, scaffolding. Whatever it is. And while you're doing all those things, kind of wary of that person and this thing and that dangerous scenario, you have a heart attack and you die. You're like, for fuck's sake. HeRoMaRinE's little bamboozle with the barracks didn't really seem to be all that concerning to MaxPax, who, as far as I can see, did not interrupt his build to respond. Maybe... I mean, sometimes you get a Zealot for a proxy barracks, but then again, here... MaxPax has also been getting a Zealot just because, so I don't know if that was the reason or not, but... didn't get into an Adepts is also a bit different from his previous games, so maybe that is the biggest difference here. Stalker's a little bit pricier, kind of interferes with the build order sometimes. But that's all I got. Like, otherwise, wasn't it too big of a difference. And we once again have MaxPax going into Phoenix Colossus. Worked out for him last time. It is funny though, earlier in this broadcast I was talking about how it just seems like most Phoenix openers going into charge. I didn't remember the last time I saw Phoenix Colossus. Well, here you go. MaxPax bringing it back. I do want to say probably the last time I saw Phoenix Colossus was like a skillless game on this map. I seem to recall him trying to do that against a couple of different Terrans and ultimately being unsuccessful, unfortunately. But yeah, last game MaxPax very successful. This game, let's see if he is successful. With a very safe third base in the back, it should be success to a point. I don't think he's going to be broken. Since you can take that nice safe base in the back, kind of takes away some of the power of the possibilities of the Terran intercepting you while you're just barely not prepared. So if you're taking this third base, you got your pylon, your shield batteries finishing, your Colossus out, second one's almost out, boom, suddenly the Terran appears because it's just a short map and they chose extra wide build order. It can be kind of brutal. But, you know, if you're only defending one place and the shield battery's been there forever, should be okay. Speaking of build orders from the Terran, quick 2-1-1 follow-up. Or not even 2-1-1, sorry. Like a quick hidden barracks into factory into 2 more barracks. There you go. Very specific. So, kind of a 2-base all-in. Got no medevacs to speak of. And SCVs have been pulled, but it's not all of the SCVs. Looks like MaxPax was at the very least wary of something like this, so he was able to scout it and try and buy some time. First shield battery does go down, but the second one now overcharged. Gonna try and save the day. It's like with the overcharge, he thought maybe he could run out and actually get one of these tanks with a lift. Not quite the case, but at least has that Colossus alive, so... With the Colossus alive, just Marines can't just barge in, right? So the tanks have the siege hop. That does give a lot of time for MaxPax to hopefully figure things out, build more shield batteries, and, yeah, intercept and reinforcements. That's the best thing that the Phoenix can do right now. Just gotta be careful about not getting all of their energy spent. They probably do want to come back in and help lift some of these units. MaxPax is already running out of time. He is already running out of space to give up for this push. But he does have his second Colossus about to pop, but no shield battery, so 4 tanks firing away. Is not something Colossus are meant to stand up against, frail as they are, and it looks like the natural is just gonna have to be abandoned. Now this would be an ultra weird scenario if this was now down to 1 base and also only coming in from the choke. But this is, still 2 base and coming in from different locations, so maybe MaxPax can hold. Zealots, not charge lots coming in to take the brunt of the tank fire, and 2 tanks do end up getting destroyed with both Colossus still able to live. And these Colossus are so freaking important. Anytime they take a shot at these Marines, like half health, right? And so 2 of them actually are killing a lot of them with every single time they're able to touch them. Just touch it. The Marines, kind of a no-brainer to deal with. The tanks, that's the difficult part. Another tank has joined in. The Phoenix trying their best to stop reinforcements. I believe did try and stop one of the tanks, but it still got into the front lines. And now they're looking to actually do their lift. Charge is done. Extended thermal lance will never be done by the looks of things, as this is kind of do or die for both sides. Is it going to be a break for MaxPax, or is HeRoMaRiNE's build actually going to work? It is HeRoMaRiNE's build, giving him game number 3 and a lead in the series. Guys, a little question mark actually with the charge finishing up. That charge might do the trick, but nope. GG. And thank you, Bali, for the 58 months. I feel like, again, I might have already said that, but today's a weird day. Apparently last game, Naruto missed out on a lobby invite, so... He's watching a delayed stream. So we gotta wait a little while. Okay. Naruto finally caught up. Tropical Sacrifice for game number 4 in the bottom left. Psystorm's MaxPax. Top right. Mao's Esports HeRoMaRinE. So HeRoMaRinE's little fake proxy, basically. I don't think it really did anything. Still gonna stick to that. But the follow-up was very brutal. Using the shortest rush distance to try and kill the Protoss for the prepared. I think, really, there's one big thing that could have changed, I think, that would have really helped. And that is having the Robo and Robotics Bay in the main base. I think that would have really helped. Literally, you know, the depowering that happened at the last second wouldn't have happened, but then also a little more room, literally room to run around. A little bit of MaxPax's own SimCity, creating some minor problems. But then other things that could have gone better. MaxPax maybe could have actually gotten a shield battery in the way back earlier on. And then also had a, you know, pylon again, powering the Exanthermal Lance. That was very last second, though, so would that have been what saved him? I don't know, but maybe. Maybe he shouldn't have tried that first bust. I don't know, that's actually, it's definitely one for the replay analysis. Just going in and being like, well, if this guy did this better, this better, this better. Perhaps if I had scouted it just a little bit earlier. Because it is tough. It hits really fast. And you're not going to be able to really change your build order all that much. As soon as you scout it, you're kind of stuck on Phoenix Colossus for a little while. Even if you do try to speed up the process over in charge lots. Maybe there was also some other things that I just simply did not note. Maybe you could have cut probes a bit earlier. Used chronos a bit better, something like that. But again, one for the replay of MaxPax. You gotta look into that and be like, okay. Tiny things could have helped me here. Because I think that is something that the player that does what MaxPax does can hold. I don't think this is a build order loss, although I have no doubt that HeRoMaRinE, you know, expected what MaxPax was doing. Just has to be a very, very clean defense. Moving on to this game, potentially the last game of the series. We once again have MaxPax going into Phoenix. Looks like that absolute bop of the first game where he tried Blink Stalkers and then had 15 probes killed and no success with the aggression. It's just like, yeah, I'm swearing off Twilight Councils for a while. Alright. HeRoMaRinE still swearing by the factory expand by the looks of things. Going up to 1-1-1, Cyclone and Viking. Never forget that there is an offensive push with this, right? And MaxPax should not forget, considering that he's had to deal with stuff like that. Second game was pretty much exactly that, and it looks like it's doing the same thing as the second game, right? Might be confusing my series here, but I'm pretty sure. So, the second game was... or was it the first game? No, first game was... You know what? Don't... Stop. Stop trying. Stop trying! You don't even know you're getting yourself confused. Point is... Might be a shorter map, might be a longer map. I don't actually know, but the point is, there could be some serious aggression on top of MaxPax's third base. And he is going into charge this time. So I'm Phoenix Colossus, the Phoenix Charge. which means he has a third base to defend as of right now. Phoenix charge would have gotten those gases up, might have been able to see that there's an attack on the way and decide, okay, I'm just going to wait a while longer. Can't really wait. You have to get this base up. You have to get that economy up to get supercharged and then build a freak ton of zealots. That's how it goes. Zealots are really about quantity for a little while. This looks like a devastating push to me. There is a shield battery up, though, so that's something. I'm thinking about the... Oh! Ooh! What am I? Please. I was thinking about the less than simple hold made on the second map, whatever it was, but that actually was not so bad. Tank really didn't get a chance to shine there. And the HeRoMaRinE helped kill it. Phoenix barely survives there too. Okay, actually this is fantastic. This excellent micro again there from MaxPax, saving the one Phoenix, realizing that there might be an attempt to stop and hold. And now MaxPax gets into building his Twilight Council upgrade, as well as a Forge upgrade. +1's on the way. Oh, well, not really missing a beat on the pro production by the looks of things either. That was way better than I was anticipating. And HeRoMaRinE is now in a lot of trouble, man. MaxPax is going to have complete control over the game for the next 3 minutes. Certainly until HeRoMaRinE has stim, combat shields, and medevacs. And even then, I think that MaxPax would still have the better army. So HeRoMaRiNE's going to go for kind of an off-timing push. But it's not going to work. I don't think. It's still very tank-based, and charge lots are already coming in here. So, I mean, maybe he can... Yeah, he can abuse maybe some of the spots for the tank siege up, but that does, MaxPax does not have to come and meet this yet. He has time on his side, actually, right now. So, more charge lots, more gooder. And HeRoMaRinE could be completely enveloped by zealots. It's a big old crushing hug. So, HeRoMaRinE... I do think chooses wisely. I was quite concerned, but he usually knows what he's doing. So he does do a little bit of a off-timing, kind of just like, I gotcha. Are you worried? Are you scared? Are you doing other things right now? And then ultimately was planning on pulling back. He's changing over into HeRoMaRiNE's as well. MaxPax, knowing that time was on his side, actually set up a big old zealot run by, which coincidentally is matching with HeRoMaRiNE's full-on retreat back to his natural, so that wasn't too bad. I still think that MaxPax has control over this game. Now, this is where you start talking about the Protoss having to adapt, right? So they can play mass charge lot for a little while longer and have a decent time, but assuming that the Terran player doesn't give any openings, they're maybe playing very defensive back at home or just very cautious, so they move across. Oh, SCV pull number 2 for today. That makes sense. You do have 4th and 5th barracks in the natural. And I don't know if MaxPax might be able to pick up on that. Now he certainly knows. Of course, the Phoenix scouted it. But that was a bit late on the scouts. And things are looking up for HeRoMaRinE as he decides to just 2-base all in. Makes a lot of sense versus mass charge lot. I've talked about it before, but 2 excellent force fields are going to buy so much time. SCVs dying prior to actually really helping out right now. And that means that more zealots can come in. Maybe another shield battery. More zealots, more gooder, right? Tanks are not sieged this time around, and they're already being set upon by the zealots and the Phoenix getting those lifts. Now, good target fire there from HeRoMaRinE to unlock those siege tanks, but they aren't really getting very many shots, guys. Good pullback, I would say, from MaxPax. Still plenty of fodder, as well as those shield batteries to help him out for another wave of zealots. And he also now has, well, he has the ability to make a Colossus. I gotta take that back. That Robo is in a very dangerous area. But MaxPax on 3 bases. He still has a lot of warp-ins to go. He's getting closer and closer to having that +1 armor done as well. And MaxPax just needs to play this out as smartly and calmly as possible. Smartly? Smart and calm. Okay, whatever. Point is, he just got to think this one through. And I think he's got it. Medevacs are almost all out of juice. Many of these units still injured. Of course, I'm going to stim again. And that is that, actually. That is going to be a successful hold from the Protoss. He loses 22 probes, but still ahead by 20 with a 3rd Nexus, able to crank them out again at 3 times, plus 3 times Chrono Boost. +1 armor finally finishes, so a bit of an off timing there, but that was a successful hold. Smartly. Doesn't sound like a word when you say it. Sounds like you're saying something in a very dumb way. Dumbly. So Robo died, but I think the robotics bay is still up. It is, so going into double Robo is going to be very quick. Very easy. If he wants. Just not on a single Robo now. HeRoMaRinE taking stock of the situation, probably thinking, okay, there's a chance for a secondary all-in to work, which I think is kind of correct. It is one of those, well, maybe scenarios. Not as clear-cut. But I'd be surprised if the second one did work. No SCV pull this time? Not many SCVs to pull. Scan reveals that it is in fact still on charge lot. I mean, MaxPax really could have gone faster into a Colossus if he wanted to. So this might be on him if he loses. It's also still... it's still a lot of charge lots, but... it's a lot of Marines as well. Oh, there's more charge lots. Coming in from two different directions. Almost gets that full surround, but there's just too many Marines, man. And just this mass Marine damage output, even to the Zealots that now have +1 armor. It's very intimidating. Two Archons, however, finishing up are even more intimidating. And they need to be saved. No shield barrier to pull back to. One of them's going to get popped. And now the third Nexus is actually going to die. Oh, no. Oh, no. MaxPax too late to the splash damage. Thought he might be able to cut it with just a mass amount of Zealots, and... I thought so too, but not gonna happen. Even with the upgrade lead, now as a Colossus, Guardian Shield, Archon gonna get popped once again, however, and the Colossus looking to go down. Mass Marine do manage to take it down, and are still able even to run away from the Zealots. That could have maybe been better time from the Protoss player, actually. The Zealots might have been able to be pulled back to protect said Colossus, and that would have been a huge shield, because we are on pure Marine right now. And pure Marine against a Colossus, bad. Pure Marine against pure Zealot, actually pretty good. Just sucks they don't have an upgrade. An additional upgrade. But it does look like there might just be too much Protoss. I mean, HeRoMaRinE, again, he did not pull SCVs for a second time, so he's on 26 SCVs. We have 3 mules right now. That's not bad. That is not bad. MaxPax's 38 workers aren't really working at 38. He is severely oversaturated in his natural.
Received. Thank you for appeasing the overmind.
HeRoMaRinE was right on the money, thinking that a second all-in would work, because it kind of has. It has worked, definitively. It has worked. The reason I said kinda is just because it is still a weird game, isn't it? It's like, well, and then, well, there's this, and, well, okay, huh. So, looking at it completely, I do believe HeRoMaRinE is going to win. But MaxPax, if he can get another base up? That's so difficult to get a base up. He's actually going to go for a Colossus instead. So I guess what he's doing is scouting that there is in fact no third CC, not even a lifted orbital. So he's thinking there's going to be an attack again soon. The problem is that, like, because HeRoMaRinE's army is just so good, even if he was getting a third orbital, or lifting, I don't think he's getting a third base. If he's lifting his main or his natural to get a third, if you will, he could still also do a push. So, you know, MaxPax is really in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. But maybe, and thinking of the great Zergs, maybe prioritizing economy first and then just trying to, you know, cut it very close on building the army would have been better. Maybe the Nexus should have gone down instead of these 2 Colossus, because then it would already be about halfway done. Tough decisions. Nicolay, yes, thank you for the Prime sub. 84 army supply to 50. No shield battery, no overcharge. MaxPax intentionally trying to hide some of his army right there. He's gonna have to give up this third, I can tell you that much. Colossus don't kill tanks very fast, so can't abuse the range there. And now, MaxPax is gonna lose out on that upgrade lead, which I thought was really gonna kick in for the secondary all-in. I thought that was really gonna be one of the reasons that he did survive, but nope. And now it's even upgrades. The only thing he's got going for him are the Colossus, which are really being negated almost by the 5 tanks. And even a couple of Vikings are providing a bit more of a nuisance than you'd hope.
Resubscription received. Apparently you are doing something right, Captain.
Sand Wolf 12, 11. Thank you for the 12 months. There you go. Love the hallucinations, and I love what looks to be a prepared probe pool, because why not? Things have gotten so down and dirty. The probe pool might actually be what cuts it. Colossus actually were physically moved on top of the tanks to try and engage those Marines, but HeRoMaRinE wisely pulling them back ends up winning the engagements, which was quite one-sided at the end as well, so I don't think the Colossus micro mattered, but GG. GG. HeRoMaRinE will take the 3-1, ending his little loss streak against MaxPax, and finally taking back his throne. He has not won an open cup for 2 months at this point. Which, you know, for a lot of people was like, okay, it's okay, sure, what? But for HeRoMaRinE, I mean, he was winning every single one for